Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 37 of the Cross Media Show. Today's topic is this insane WarnerMedia and Discovery merger. Before we get into it, if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to give us a like and subscribe and help support us and see more great content like the Marvel Mondays Initiative, the Penultimate Conquest podcast, and my show. Ooh, not my show. I forgot to change that. And Ryan's show, Anime Nation. Also, if you remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, which gives you a free Twitch subscription. So give us a sub. If you missed out on any of this week's content, feel free to check out the website, thepenultimateconquest.com, and check out our VODs and even see the schedule for the rest of the month. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Ruben, the director of the Penultimate Conquest. Today's guests are the host of Anime Nation, the guru of anime, Ryan Smith. Ryan, how's it going?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself, Ruben?
Pretty good. Can't complain. It's Tuesday. Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
You're that guy.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Wow, I completely missed the mark on that one. We also have the man that somehow voted for Avengers as his number one game of the year last year. Anthony, you will not live this title down. I'm sorry.
No. It's perfectly fine. I'm happy to have that attached to me for all of eternity. Apparently,
Yes, all of eternity until I come up with something better.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Working on some D&D stuff with you. We're going to be doing that at the end of the month. Very exciting.
That's
so
right.
if anyone listening likes D&D, hopefully we'll have some fun at the end of the month with that.
Yeah, we'll see. And for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, he is a video game and technology journalist. Please welcome Keith Mitchell. Keith, how
What's
you
up,
doing?
everybody? I'm good. And yourself?
I'm pretty good. Like I said, it's a Tuesday. I am that guy. Yeah, Keith.
Hey, man, you're still around. You're still doing your thing on a Tuesday, so commend you for that one.
Yes.
Most people are already giving up on Monday.
Yeah.
I would have given up on Monday.
I would love to give up on Monday. Keith, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I go by the name of Shadow Haxer. I've had that handle for about a good 30 years. I'm 44 now, so I've been out there for a while. I am the editor-in-chief of a gaming and geek culture website called The Outer Hay Productions, where we talk about gaming, anime, manga, TV, film, all that cool stuff, either news, reviews, written, or video, or podcasts. We pretty much do everything. We're big geeks. We're passionate about what we do, and we love it. Myself, as you mentioned, I am an IT professional technologist by trade. That is my 9 to 5, but I got into this crazy world of gaming and journalism. I want to say about 15 years ago. I was the kid that grew up with the original IBM PC clones and the Commodore 64s and television. Thanks to my father, my uncles getting me into gaming at an early age, and Atari 2600, and pretty much everything was like, oh, gaming. I love this. I'm the guy that if you say, hey, arcades suck, I look at you like, what are you talking about? Arcades were amazing because I grew up in arcades, which isn't really a thing anymore. But I still remember the golden days. I remember those quite vividly. But yeah, I have my hands in everything. Technology, big technology, CPU, processors, NAS, servers, all that cool stuff, or even game related. If I'm usually the guy people go to if they want to talk about streaming or why my stuff doesn't work properly or how come this isn't doing what it's supposed to do. So, and I like doing it. I like helping people out. I like sharing the knowledge because end of the day, I say it like this. It's kind of morbid, but I can't take it with me when I go. So I might as well share it while I'm here.
That's definitely right. I like your attitude. But now that you said that, I will be coming to you for technology advice. Why isn't my PC working?
You wouldn't be the first. You won't be the last. I have no problems with it.
Okay, cool. Before we get into today's topic, let's go into some housekeeping. If you missed it, check out the new episode of the Marvel Mondays Initiative, our MCU rewind of The Incredible Hulk. And man, what a movie. And that's not saying anything nice about that. It was just a movie. This is currently up on YouTube. I will put the link in the description below. The penultimate merch store is finally up. I know this is old, but I'm still putting that out there for everybody. I had some artwork done by the amazing Mary Kate Carney. Go check out her work and show her some love on Instagram at mkrc.art. Tessa is continuing her her journey playing Resident Evil tonight at 10 p.m. EST. And due to scheduling, we had to postpone last week's episode of Anime Nation to tomorrow. Ryan, what's the topic tomorrow?
Tomorrow I will be gathering some of the old anime people we've had here, back from the Attack on Titan group, Christian and Fee.
Wow.
We'll be talking Toonami, the 2000s era of
Ooh.
anime on late night Adult Swim on Saturday nights.
Okay, nice. Nice. I'm liking it. All right, gentlemen, let's get into this topic which has been giving me a headache for the last couple of days. Well, really just today and yesterday, but it feels like a couple of days. I am reading from the LA Times. AT&T's WarnerMedia and Discovery unveiled their blockbuster $43 billion union Monday, a combination that would bring some of the biggest names in television, HBO, CNN, HDTV, Animal Planet, and the Food Network, and the Warner Brothers movie studio under one roof. Okay, clearly I didn't read this article before I did all this. I was under the assumption that Discovery was taking over for WarnerMedia. But
no, this is not an acquisition.
Well,
It's
I'm
still
not
messy.
yeah,
It's still a messy situation.
it's still very messy, but now I'm not as upset as I was before. Okay.
Oh, okay,
All
that's
right.
good. That's good.
Yeah, very good. AT&T said it would exit the entertainment business by spinning off Warner Brothers and the TV channels that it acquired just 3 years ago. Those Warner Media assets will be combined with the Discovery channels, creating a newly publicly traded company. I mean, it kind of is super messy because...
Yeah, it's very messy. If you think about the logistics of it, this is very messy.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right. At launch, AT&T shareholders would own 71% and Discovery shareholders would own 29%. AT&T would receive $43 billion in cash, debt securities, and other considerations so that it could pay down the debt. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of debt.
Yeah. 150, 180 billion.
No, I wish I had a fraction of that in my bank account right now. You know?
Yeah,
It's
right?
just crazy. These big companies toss around money like it's nothing.
It's insane. So before we continue more into this, what do we think of this so far? Ryan, let's start with you.
This one is it's odd. It felt so out of left field on starting this week off. It was for lack of a better word, just seemed odd of a thing to do for Warner Brothers Media to be pushed into with Discovery. It just seems like a weird combination of everything to make one company under.
Do you think it's odd? AT&T is a phone company. Like, why would they know what to do with a
They
media?
They do love bundling. Now that I think about it, whenever I go into an AT&T store, they're trying to get me to bundle. They're bundling here.
Well, for me, it's more of like, I don't know why they got into the business of media when they don't. They're telecommunications.
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
Why is that?
Because all the competition was doing it. Remember back in the day when Verizon started getting into media as well, and then they quickly as they got into it, they jumped out of it because they couldn't do it. They were like, "We're done," and they dropped everything. They even picked up a couple of news sites, and dropped those. AT&T was like, well, "I'm going to do the same thing," and they jumped right in. No experience, didn't know exactly what they were doing, and here we are. They were in the game much longer though.
Yeah.
I forgot about the whole controversy of having a news organization owned by a phone company. I remember that now.
Yeah. They control
We control the narrative, exactly.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Unbelievable. Mitchell, what do you think about this?
As I said in the beginning, this is a complete and total mess. This is a mess. And the problem with all this right now is they're saying certain things are set in stone, but we all know from past events, nothing is ever set in stone. They'll say one thing, wait a couple months later, and change everything up. The only good thing about this, it gives the company time to think about what exactly they're doing, because nothing's going to get finalized for like another year or so. So
Right.
I'm more concerned about two things: WB, or all the gaming properties, and the studios, and streaming. Those who cut the cord, those who are subscribed to HBO Max. What happens? We already saw DC Universe go away, and they start moving their stuff over to HBO Max.
Yep.
Now what's going to happen? What's going to happen to DC Comics? You know, what's happening here as a whole? I mean, something's going to give. Something's going to go away eventually. Not to mention, they also terminated what, 2,000 people not too long ago?
Yep.
And then also said, oh, nah, WB Games is fine. They're not going anywhere. We're good.
Yeah.
Here we are. We're right back at where we were at the beginning.
Well, I did see on Twitter yesterday, a bunch of people were talking about how some WB Games studios were going to be sold off. Others were going to be held, if I remember that correctly, Anthony. Am I right?
Yeah, so a lot of journalists had the opportunity to start asking questions once the announcements came out. And so it seems like for right now, any of the studios that are intrinsically tied into WBIP are going to stay with the WB WarnerMedia area. So the people that work on the Batman games, Suicide Squad,
Okay.
that sort of stuff seems to be safe. And it seems like the Lord of the Rings people, those will be fine. But outside of that, like Lego, the Lego people, they're not intrinsic to WB. They're more third party with Lego.
Right.
And so they don't need them as much. And so that's kind of the area where things will probably start being sold off to help get their debt down.
NetherRealms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Will
we'll
we
see.
ever get a Mortal Kombat 2?
You know what? If they got rid of NetherRealms, I know one company that would be interested in picking them up.
Oh, gee. I wonder which company. What kind of hat are you wearing?
Oh, hey, what are you talking about? But no, seriously, it's kind of funny, kind of a coincidence that happened, because I know Microsoft has been trying to find a developer to get Killer Instinct back off fronting again, and they can't find anybody. So hey, that would be perfect. Though I don't know if I want another room working on Killer Instinct.
They couldn't do it.
It's two different styles of games. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm sorry. What game is this?
Killer Instinct.
Oh, Killer Instinct. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's still.
Classic arcade game.
I would not like that at all.
But hey, great cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This is true.
A story.
You don't play fighting games for the story, except unless you're playing Mortal Kombat.
Or Injustice.
Oh boy.
Another Realm games.
Mhm.
Yeah, again, this is completely messy. I don't want to think about the logistics of this at all. I just want to see this play out. It's one of those things you just want to cover your eyes and go, I don't care. Wake me up when it's done.
So technically, you guys are right. It's not an acquisition, but it kind of feels like an acquisition, because essentially they want Discovery to just take over WarnerMedia. Am I reading this
Yes.
correctly? Okay.
Yes. But I have a wrench to throw in there.
Go
So
ahead.
hypothetically, what if Discovery, this new entity, whatever, doesn't want to have to do anything with gaming? Then what?
We're screwed. They're gonna sell it off like they wouldn't.
They're gonna
believe.
sell it all off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we
Because
know
Discovery,
who's picking that up.
Discovery.
PhD
I'm
Nordic
like,
will be making some
You
plays.
see, that's where you're
I'm like,
wrong.
why? I'm like, why Discovery? Why is Discovery even in this picture?
Yeah. You wanna know
Discovery.
why? They want to start making HDTV video games. Because why not?
You know what? I got no problems with HGTV. There's been many days I've sat in front of TV. I'm like, you know what? These guys should do a gaming room or an office setup
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
They got
like,
enough. They got enough house building shows and
Yeah.
whatnot. But
This
yeah,
is where
it's not good.
G4 and HDTV combine to make one HG4 TV.
Mhm.
There you go. It's
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't come out to be, Discovery goes, I don't want anything to do with gaming. Goodbye.
Yeah.
This is bad for everybody.
Mhm.
So if that's the case, and this is a cross media show, like we're just crossing the borders of the Penultimate Conquest podcast
Hi,
right
welcome to
now.
the Penultimate Conquest.
Yeah. Who do we think? Let's say a hypothetical. They decide to go that route. Who do we think? Let's see what the list of studios Warner Brothers has. Well, WarnerMedia.
Mhm.
Who do we think is going to pick up, let's say, the majority of these studios? And I really hope you don't say Xbox, Keith.
Well, I'm not going to say Xbox. I think that would be a lot of overlap. But
Yeah.
the problem is, who's going to pick them up if they get picked up?
Uh,
Like, I don't see anybody picking up Telltale Games.
nah, I don't see anybody picking up
Mm-mm.
Telltale either.
Nah.
Oh, this is insane. Studios.
They could do the partnership with through Game Pass, like not Beyond Two Souls, the other young adult story people that
Life is Strange.
yes,
They-
that people
yeah.
they could kind of go that route because that is a good kind of Game Pass
Yeah. Perfect for
drip
that.
feed as it goes. So that sort of stuff could work for them, but
So, it says here the list of here kickguru.net. No, that doesn't really sound
I got one for you.
okay.
Mhm.
Go right ahead.
So it's Avalanche Software, Monolith Productions, NetherRealm Studios, Rocksteady Studios,
Oh
Tell-
no.
Telltale Games,
Mhm.
WB Games Boston, WB Games Montreal, WB Games New York, San Diego, and San Francisco.
So essentially, pretty much everybody is
Everybody.
what's going to be sold.
Nobody didn't get the chopping block.
Wait, no, I'm confused. Is that what AT&T is keeping, or is that what?
this is
are
what
the
they
studios-
own.
Yeah, these are all the ones that are
Okay.
affected.
All right. These are all the ones that are affected. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Rocksteady.
Not to mention real quick though, not gaming related, just throwing out there. This also means DC Comics
Yeah.
is owned by Discovery.
And what does that?
Well,
even
see
mean?
you later, DC Comics. It was nice knowing you.
We're just
Wow.
gonna see again HGTV. Just I'm gonna see Batman on an HGTV. So
We're gonna
Which-
see Marvel acquire DC Comics, and that's gonna be hilarious.
Oh my god, it's exactly what people have been saying. But there's this guy at work that's been telling me this for years, and he's finally right. And I'm never gonna. Hear
I mean, they got the money now. House of Mouse is like, hey, we want you now, and now we can get that Batman Captain America crossover series everybody's been wanting for years.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
And you
Oh,
know
Lord.
it's going to be like a conflict of interest. This is a monopoly. No one cares about comic books, so no one's
No.
going to stand in the way.
Unfortunately,
scary.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is so scary right now.
Yeah.
I just want to close my eyes and just wake me up when the damage is done.
Mhm.
So let's
But
stick
yeah,
let's stick with what do we think is going to happen to HBO Max? Is it going to be?
Oh man, I
They're-
don't want it going away. I love it. I love HBO Max.
Oh
I don't
my
want it
God,
going
I love it
away.
so much.
I guess I'll
HBO
start
Max
off
has
too.
been a great thing during this pandemic in terms of WB
Movies.
has been releasing movies in theaters and
Yeah.
doing their HBO Max play. And that's kept them in the box office cycle, which is it's them and then that Flintstones animated movie, not Flintstones, but the old
Right.
anime movie for kids. That's like the one big great success. And then WB's been doing a pretty good job of keeping movies coming out, even to the detriment of like Tenet and
Tom
that sort
and
of
Jerry?
stuff. Yeah, but it's for a movie theater,
Yeah.
they're happy because they have something. I know it pissed off a lot of people when they did the HBO Max deal. It turned out they had to pay everyone. Like everything was a success because they had their contracts.
Right.
But that's kept WB in the spotlight in terms of movie theaters. Like they're the ones that have been consistently putting things out.
Yep.
But then in addition to that, they have other HBO Max productions that they're still doing. They're already working on a Titans season 3. They got a green light for Harley Quinn season 2. They had the cliffhanger for Doom Patrol because of COVID.
Yep.
And all that sort of stuff. So they're still kind of rolling in production because they're in a holding pattern until next year, like mid next year. And so they're just going to make what they have already on the slate. And then it'll be what it'll be. So I hope it sticks around in terms of they have a lot of great shows on there, old and new. And there's a lot of great classic films on there. They do a lot that they don't market very well because the original HBO Max people that were in charge are gone.
Yeah.
And so they folded it into, I think it was Ann Sarnoff is the creative head. Do you not know these people? So WB.
No, I'm just saying it's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. So Ann Sarnoff is the digital head. So she does like theme parks, TV, so like half of CW
Yep.
and all that sort of stuff. That's where she's at. And then there's Jason Keelar, who I believe is now looking at resigning. He's like leaving because their
Jeez.
company's changing. He was like the business end of HBO Max, and so he was the one that had the big push for the HBO Max movie deal that we're going through right now.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's leaving, and then the Discovery boss is taking over.
Everything.
Yeah, David, was it Zasloff is his name?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, so he's going to be the big head honcho now, and then it'll be him who decides who stays and who goes. I know the guy that's been in charge of DC Films recently, Walter Hamada, had his contract renewed prior to this through the Flash, no longer Flashpoint Flash movie. So theoretically, he's sticking around until next year when they can officially give people boots and replace him. So,
Right.
and they're filming that movie now. So,
Oh God, Ryan.
What the God? After that, I forgot what the question was. What's happening in HBO Max, right?
Yes. Yes.
mhm.
I have numbers come out for how successful HBO Max has been. Like,
I don't
is it
think
a
so.
booming success?
No.
Not in terms of money, but in terms of subscribers, there have been guesses because of what's streaming the way it is. They don't have to report like
it's
the box
so hard
office does.
to
Uh-huh.
estimate these kinds of things nowadays
Mhm.
because there's just no, like, with box office. I could go and get the numbers that weekend.
I got here
And-
from April 22nd, 2020. This is the Hollywood Reporter saying it
Oh
has
God.
44.2 million subscribers.
That's
Okay.
not bad.
That's
not bad.
at all.
Nah.
Especially for how new it is in comparison to,
Right.
and it's just America, right? They haven't even been able to get it outside.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
is where I think Discovery is going to be, helpful in the sense that Discovery has their app, their streaming app all over the place as far as I was told. I can't confirm or deny that. But
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that they have their app all over the place where this could essentially help Warner, like, well, not Warner, but AT&T out with getting their money back from buying a company that they didn't really know much about. Well, not that they didn't really know, the business side that they didn't know much about. It's, yeah. Sorry, Ren. Go ahead.
No, I definitely think that for at least in the initial part, I think HBO Max will be safe. I think if it is doing those numbers that the Hollywood Reporter is saying, I don't see them being like, this is a bad thing. But I do now see it getting, you're going to have your reality TV sections of HD TV on there. You're going to have National Geographic, Animal
Yeah.
Planet, all that molded in with the Discovery stuff, basically just added on top.
Right.
Which is fine with. I have no problem with that. That's more content's more content. That's always a good thing.
Exactly. Keith, what do you think about this? Where is HBO Max going?
I really hope it doesn't because I really enjoy the service. I think the numbers that they got, you said 44 million users. I
44.2
think,
million, yeah.
and you got to think about that. That came on on or before, for example, Wonder Woman 84 coming to the service and
This
other
was
shows.
after.
Godzilla, Godzilla versus Kong. Or Kong
Yeah,
versus
this is
Godzilla.
around Godzilla versus Kong.
So
Like a week before Mortal Kombat.
yeah, so they're doing decent. They've got some bangers people watch, and I've watched Mortal Kombat a couple times. I thought it was a silly movie, but at the same time, I enjoyed the fight scene. So I'm hesitant to say they're fine because things could change. I mean, right now, who's the winner in the streaming wars right now? Disney Plus still?
I think so, yeah.
Netflix and then Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Right.
So they've got to have something to show that they can stand out. They've had 3 movies, but what do they have now outside of that? What new series do they have coming out on top of that?
They got that
We've already
Gotham
mentioned
series.
they've got a couple things coming. They also got everything that was in DC Universe come over. For me, one of the biggest things for myself is the next season of Young Justice.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Excited
So
about
they have a lot to offer, but is it enough? I want to say they're safe for now,
Mhm.
but you can never tell. Again, Discovery. Discovery is the dark horse here. We have no idea what they're going to do.
Yeah.
We don't know what their plans are. They've been in this territory for a long time, but not in this particular niche. Not with these brands and these shows and these properties. We don't know what they're going to do. They could say, "Great, we got them all, fantastic. Now we're in the running." where they can go, we don't want this. I mean, there's a reason why you shell out this much money to be involved. And I'm
Right.
hoping it's not just to get rid of everything. That'd be
hope
silly.
not. Let's hope not. I'm reading here from Dade Hayes from Deadline.com. HBO Max will hit 120 million to 150 million subscribers by 2025, with AVOD tier launching in June. Now, I'm not really sure what AVOD is. I'm assuming it's going to be like what they're doing with the movies coming out this year. Just pretty much a Disney Premier Access is what I'm assuming.
I heard that they're doing a cheaper version of HBO Max that has advertisements folded into it, and you don't get the movies.
There you go. Yes.
So if you want the movies, you pay up to the HBO Max normal price.
Gotcha. Yes, that's exactly what it says here. The long-awaited ad support tier of the service will launch in the U.S. in June, the company said. Which, is this even still going to be happening?
Well, for the foreseeable future, they're stuck in a holding pattern, doing
Right,
what they can do well up until next year when the official decisions come in and they can start kicking butts and whatever. So
I don't know.
It's just a waiting game at this point.
Yes. This the LA Times also said that the name of the name of the new entity will be announced next week, which is kind of a weird thing. Why not just put it out with this press release? Like, hey, I don't know. In my mind, it's like, why have two press releases when you could just do one, and get rid of it all?
Will that be the day it starts getting publicly traded?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like this is going to be I believe this set for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the year. So
I think it's just a way for them to stay in the news cycle. Like you have the pop of we're being merged with this other entity. All that is coming together. And then later you could be like, we have this new company, and maybe they've had some time to finalize some, at least ideas and plans in terms of answering a lot of these questions more succinctly in terms of having to go to all these different interviews.
Right.
One big dump.
Okay, I guess. Following the article, like you had said, Anthony, David Zaslav will run the combined company. The veteran executive has more than 30 years of experience in media, joining NBC in 1989 to build CNBC. He has been leading Discovery since 2007. A lawyer by training, he helped take the company public in 2008 and was an architect in its transformative $12 billion purchase of Food Network and HGTV. So the best you can say is this guy knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, he has a lot of TV experience at least. So he has production. He's not coming from AT&T with phones. He at least has TV experience to draw off of, and he can rely on WB's movie experience in terms of outside of DC. They've had a lot of success with The Conjuring, and their horror franchises have been doing very good. So outside of the issues of DC with their film division, everything else that WB does is pretty good.
Okay.
Doesn't the new Conjuring movie drop this weekend?
Yes, it does. I think that's it. Yeah. Actually, yes, it does. Sorry. Do you guys think this guy's competent enough from what we're reading right now to save, not even to save HBO or WarnerMedia itself, but to save DC movies?
I mean, he has the resume. As far as does he have the chops to do it? The verdict is still out on that one.
Okay.
From what I've been hearing in terms of the original bosses, it was Keelar was business and then Sarnoff was creative.
Yeah.
Keelar ruffled a lot of feathers, obviously, with the movie theater HBO Max deal. But then in addition to that, there was like some CNN kerfuffle that he had with one of the, I don't know if it was an executive, but you know how all the business people play golf?
Yeah.
This came out of a golf conversation where they were these groups of executives were having a golf game or a golf conversation, and they're like, "Man, we've got some struggles over here. This Keelar guy's having problems with me. I might have to leave." It's like, well, hold on, we could figure something out. And so that's where those initial conversations started happening for this kind of merger to take place.
Yeah.
So it's not strangers coming together; it's people that know each other and then get along at least. So there is that. And I know Wall Street wanted Comcast, was it NBC or MSNBC, whatever that is.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of the speculation that they should be the ones to come in to get WarnerMedia out of AT&T's hands. And so this happened before any of those talks could happen. But he had experience with that organization in the past, so there is at least some good. He's liked in terms of he's not bad water in terms of the industry for his interpersonal work, so that's
Yeah.
always a good sign in terms of, because I know Jeff Johns burned a lot of bridges on his way out of DC, and so
Unfortunately.
you always are happy to see at least liked people be in charge.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what else we got here. Well, I had here, this was definitely a biased opinion, but I wrote here, let's talk about the damage that AT&T has made to Warner, meaning the DC movies being driven to the ground, stepping away from a connected universe just to make separate movies like The Joker, which was unfortunately a box office success.
An award winner.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it?
That's
I'm not gonna call it an award
that's their
winner.
best movie they've made under the superhero brand since they had DC.
But it's not a superhero movie.
Exactly.
That's
They
why.
got someone to do. I want to do this story, and they're like, you know what? Do that story, but put the Joker on it so people will come and see it.
Okay, fair enough.
Otherwise, it would have been an A24 film. Let's all be real here.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan, what do you think about this? Am I wrong here?
I mean,
AT&T
I've
given DC
I've
the-
hated what they've done with DC. Because when did they acquire it? It was
3 years ago.
Yeah, 2000.
3 or 4 years ago, right? So, like
18.
right after Batman v Superman.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're gearing up for this thing. You're going into Justice League, and then we stop doing that. Nothing's connected, so you lose any of your thing of that. So, and then you keep having. It feels like every 3 weeks a new rumor about a Flashpoint movie that's been in talks now for 5-10 years, that is now finally seeing the light of day. Maybe,
Yeah.
but
It-
that movie's
it-
gone. That movie's gone under so many changes. It's insane. But I do think Joker is the only success story to come out of this whole thing. Is that I don't know if that movie would have been made otherwise. That movie is arguably the best one they did, but it's completely different from anything either side was doing at the time. So that's why it's good.
Right, but it's also like you said, it could have been a completely different movie, and they just
It could have been.
copied and
It could
pasted
have
Joker
been.
into it.
It could have been. But I think for what it is as a Joker film, it's fantastic.
Okay. Keith, what do you think?
Well, one, I didn't like the Joker movie whatsoever.
There we go. Okay,
So,
good.
I'm glad I'm not one of the weirdos out there thinking that this wasn't a great movie, because it wasn't. I'm really scared about this, to be honest with you. They didn't do anything for the DC brand, to be honest, and
They made it worse. You can't honestly tell me they made it for the better.
no, they have not. They have not. A great example is Wonder Woman 84. I mean,
Ugh,
oh my God.
God, what a horrible movie.
There was so many issues with that movie. I was so looking forward to it. I watched it and I went, what did
Happened.
I just watch?
Yeah.
What happened from the first movie to this movie?
Yep.
What happened?
a big part of that was the director Patty Jenkins. She did so good, and AT&T knew so little of what they're doing. They just gave her way more control, and then the studio wasn't able to step in and be like, we need a little bit more action. We need those sorts of things that a studio would normally do.
We need
just
people to
over-
actually look at your movie and say, hey,
Yeah.
maybe you shouldn't put this into the movie.
Yeah.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. If it wasn't for Soul coming out, Wonder Woman 1984 would have ruined Christmas for me, and I stand by that statement.
Oh man. Continue, Keith. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have any faith in the DC brand anymore in terms of movies. I haven't in a long time, and that only solidified that. I have no faith. I have nothing. there's nothing that they can do right now to instill any kind of confidence that DC movies are any good anymore, and that includes the upcoming Shazam or Black Adam movie.
Black Adam, Shazam, Flash, and there was one more, the
Batman.
Batman, and there was also one more. I forget what it was.
Oh, they're still working on the Batman. I know the movie's had so many stops.
Yeah, I believe they still are in production of that movie, but I can't.
I think they like wrapped like the basic production.
Isn't it entering post production pretty soon?
Yeah, it's entering post production pretty soon. They had to stop because of COVID, that sort of stuff, but they were able to finish what they needed to do, and they're into the post production phase.
All right, and can't forget, of course, there's also that rumor about Black Superman movie.
Oh yeah, that one.
We'll see.
I mean, the world's not ready for Black Captain America. They're not ready for Black Superman.
Exactly.
That's not gonna turn out good. That's gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh boy. I hope we're wrong in the fact that
I would love to be 150% wrong. I would.
Well, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say if they read the comics, they know there is one out there, and he's also the president.
Right.
But clearly they didn't.
Of course not. I do have one question for you, Keith.
Mhm.
Are you a fan of the Snyderverse?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So you didn't like Batman versus Superman.
No.
You didn't like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
No.
Was it a better
No.
version? Okay, let me ask you this: was it a better version of 2017's Justice League?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
it
right.
was. But that's
Not
a
saying
big
much.
stretch.
Yeah, that's
yeah. I love the fact that you expanded on Cyborg. How about that?
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I'm a snob, and I'm going to admit it. I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC movies guy. I will admit that as well. But I will give credit to where credit is due. And yeah.
Okay.
Good enough to say sorry.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Anthony, is HBO Max? Well, is Discovery going to save the DC Comics movies?
One would hope that they could deal with the drama that had manifested within Warner Brothers for DC, because I think Zach did an interview last week or two where he was trying to do the Snyder Cut during this pandemic, and he described it as torture for both sides of it. So you hope that when these new people come in, they kind of massage and get rid of any of sort of the issues that created from whether it's the Joss Whedon stuff or the disdain for the Snyder Cut. And because there's such an interesting thing with the executives. When the Snyder Cut army started, and it was just, please give us this movie, they were like, it's not real. It's Russian bots. Or like, they had all these excuses to come up with, and then these charity efforts started for suicide prevention, and they're like, oh, it's like actual people that would give us money, and we have this streaming service with nothing, and we have this movie just sitting there. Okay. And like with the pandemic, no movies were being made, so all the special effects houses just say they're doing nothing. And they're like, what do you need? I need some special effects, and like I'm gonna shoot like 2 scenes. Oh, okay, we got some special effects people that need work.
Yep.
That was the whole reason that even happened. So you hope that these new people can get rid of that bad blood. They can go forward in this new direction, because I know we brought up a DC Universe originally before this. That was a DC WB initiative prior to AT&T coming in.
Yeah.
So when AT&T came in, they're like, oh, you already have a streaming service? Well, you're just going to be a comics service now, like Marvel Unlimited, so we could do our HBO Max thing.
Yeah.
And so I know AT&T was shocked by the amount of people reading comic books on the DC Universe app. That's why they've kept it around, because they were surprised. Like, oh my God, you guys are reading these books. I didn't know that. And so it's been,
these things?
I know, it's been a good outlet for creative storytelling that is less reliant on the single issue model for comic books. They actually went into the vault, Warner Brothers DC Comics vault, because when they want to hire someone, they don't always put them on an official book. They'll task them with a story, and they'll get it back like, oh, this is pretty good. Okay, we'll hire you to actually do work for us. So they went in and pulled some of those stories out and put them out on DC Universe Infinite. And it's a lot of fun to read these stories that were just test subjects for these creative teams that were maybe trying to get into the industry for DC.
Yeah.
And so they're able to do a lot of interesting things with the comic book division, which is nice, but they also just laid off a big chunk of the staff for DC. They just finished those layoffs.
Yeah.
And so I'm so scared that we're going to lose even more people because we already lost the people that did Black Label, which was their new reader-friendly, adult-oriented, you don't need to know anything, just read these good stories. And those people are gone. So, worried.
Was Justice League Dark under that?
Justice League Dark, the comic was part of the New 52 back in 2011, so prior to that acquisition. But Warner Brothers, AT&T had decided when they got Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
they were going to put him onto a Justice League Dark project, be it a movie or an HBO Max show. They weren't sure yet, but he was going to go over there and start working on that kind of universe. So it is a part of their
No, I
their
was
initial
wondering if it was
plans.
part of Black. I was trying to remember Black Label Comics.
No, that was just New 52 standard DC.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of that Black Superman movie, J.J. Abrams confirmed yesterday that he won't be directing the new Black-led Superman reboot, which good, I guess. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I love J.J., but like, give it to somebody a person of color, because I personally I don't think JJ is gonna understand how to direct a movie of that type of well, just a movie of that amount of power, I guess.
I'm just gonna say this. After Star Wars and showing what he did with some of the POC characters in that, I don't think I want that man anywhere near a black-led Superman movie.
No.
Oh, sign. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good news. It's good news, right?
It is in
Okay.
a weird way.
Yeah. All right, let's head over to the video game side of this. Let's say all the cards are on the table. Let's put all the studios on sale. Who's picking up what? We're going to take a guessing game. Let's start off
All
with
right.
Rocksteady. Ryan, who do you think is picking up Rocksteady?
Rocksteady. Ooh. Let me think here. It's a bold one, but I think they need a company like a studio like Rocksteady under their belt. I'm going with EA picking
Ooh.
it up.
Oh my God. If EA picks up Rocksteady, I will cry for a couple days. Just because, like, no, we don't want that at all. Pick up something else. Pick up another realm or something. We don't want that. Keith, what do you think? Who do you think is picking up Rocksteady?
Oh boy. That's an odd one, honestly. I don't. There's so many people who could actually pick that up. I would say Square Enix, but at the same time, they haven't really been impressing me.
I'm sorry, you said they haven't been impressing you?
Yes, they have not been.
Final Fantasy 16? You don't think that's from what we've seen so far? That trailer does.
Outriders,
Okay, all right, yeah. All right.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The
See what I
Western
mean?
side is not doing very well.
I'm thinking
I'll
of
give it that.
I'm not thinking
Exactly.
of the Western
And
side.
then you're saying Rocksteady when their Western side games have not been very
Yeah.
good. So I hate to
but
say this.
Picture that. What if Rocksteady is leading the head of, well, not the head, but leading the Western side of Square Enix? Yeah, we just put out the new Lara Croft game, which is incredible. It's 10 out of 10. Step up your game.
Hey, I'll kill for that.
Yeah.
EA, or I hate to say it, Activision.
Okay.
Oh, Activision, I could definitely see.
Yeah, see what I mean?
What do you think Activision's putting them on?
Say that again, you broke up.
What do you think Activision's going to put them on? What's the first project? Is it
story-driven Call of Duty?
Okay, all right.
I kid, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Call of Duty. What is it? What was that? Battlefield game, Call of Duty Bad Company, something
Okay.
like that.
So
Okay.
a strong story-driven
Mm-hmm.
FPS game.
Okay.
It would work. I mean,
Yeah.
Titanfall is a great example. It definitely can work.
Oh, yeah. If you
Absolutely.
have a good FPSs can have good stories. It's been a few years, but they can have good stories.
Yeah.
I got
So
here somebody in the chat, GhostHand246, saying I could see Sony or Microsoft snatching up Rocksteady, especially Microsoft.
not Rocksteady, not from Microsoft. And Sony has enough first part or story-driven studios. I don't think they would want them. There's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really thinking EA, because then it goes with EA Play with Games Pass. You can do that kind of thing with it, all that. Which I could see.
Huh.
Because then you're getting a bit of that Microsoft money without having to
Right.
go into their pockets.
Of course. Of course. Anthony, what do you think is picking up Rocksteady?
Well, there is always the option of them keeping something because during the pandemic, video games were a great boom for bringing in money outside of film.
Yeah.
So there is always the option of keeping one or two, and if you're going to keep one, I think that would be the one you would keep.
Of course.
But if it's got to go somewhere, I'm with everyone else in terms of like an Activision or an EA, because they do the big budget stuff. They take a lot of time. They have a history of doing a good job with IPs, and those two companies have a good relationship in terms of being able to go get partnerships for IP. Being able to move it around that way. So
Okay. I'm going to go with, I'm thinking Sony. Pick them up. You know what? Yeah, we got the Batman. Well, we got the Marvel version of Batman. Go with Punisher. Let's get a nice story-driven Punisher game.
I mean, you're not going to do Daredevil at that point, is it that?
I mean, hey,
The
why not
easiest
just
comparison?
Have it both? Why not just have both? You know. Well, I was thinking, just yeah, you're probably right. Just because it's FPS, I was thinking FPS. Why not just have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The studio is more built for third person though, because if you want to do first person, you have to hire different teams because that's a
Right.
different skill set
Right,
and that
right,
sort of
right.
thing.
Well,
So,
shooter. That's what I was thinking for some
Alright.
reason. I don't know why. Even though Batman wasn't really much of a shooter.
You were really into using that explosive gun he had.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gotta love it. Ghost Hand again, 246 is saying the Volition already made a great Punisher game. I don't know what game that is. Well, I mean,
it's old. Mhm.
Yeah. All right, we got here no, actually, let's go with NetherRealm because I'm thinking NetherRealm just goes to EA. EA would probably pick them up just to get a good fighting game. I don't know much about fighting games, guys. I'm sorry. Ryan, go ahead.
As one of the group's fighting game aficionados, my favorite video game genre. The man below me's hat says it all. It's going to Xbox. Xbox been needing all of the Japanese developers partner with Sony for their fighting games, and they're mostly exclusive to Sony and the PlayStation and PC. You rarely see them come over to the Xbox side. Like hell, the biggest fighting game in the world, Street Fighter V, has only ever been on PC and PS4 and 5.
That was such a dumb business decision. But
it was dumb. It was extremely dumb, but it's what they've done for fighting games, and I definitely see Xbox being like, we need a big contender out there. And in North America, especially in North American FGC, the biggest names in that is Sonic Fox, who plays NetherRealm Fighters. You're going to want those kind of things. You're going to want to be able to get those press on you that he's playing on your consoles, that these games on that. Xbox would want that. They love that kind of thing. It's going to Xbox.
Oof, okay. Keith.
said it all. They need somebody to bring back Killer Instinct.
Okay. Anthony.
I mean, for just to not agree with everyone because it's such a good point. It would be interesting to see them maybe try and go, because you always wonder. There's always the independent option. You don't know like the legal how feasible that is in terms of being able to do that. But they are skilled enough to where if they want to go do their own thing, they could definitely do it. And maybe it's not NetherRealm. Maybe they make their own studio, but it's Ed Boon and all of those guys. They just mass exodus, make their own thing. They could very well be successful.
It's gonna
So,
be a
you never know.
Scooby-Doo fighting game.
He finally gets it.
Yeah.
Hey, there have been otter games out there. Just saying, My Little Pony and them fighting hers. So
Very true. Very true.
This is true.
I would just love to see Shaggy and Scooby duking it out, anime
while,
style.
while Shaggy is stoned out of his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Again, Ghost Hand 246. Street Fighter's whole business model was a tragedy. Capcom really doesn't know what to do with their fighting game division. Ryan, is this true?
Haven't since 09 with
Oh, boy.
well, a little bit after that, but anything after Marvel versus Capcom 3, they have kind of dropped the ball with. Street Fighter 5 is getting good now, and it's been out for the past 5 years.
Okay.
And it's only getting good because development got halted during the pandemic, so they put all their effort into making that a better game. They had a whole team overhaul. So, yeah, it's completely true.
And add on what he said. I mean, there's so many different fighting games that Capcom's had over the years that they neglected. Rival Schools, Star Gladiator,
Darkstalkers, my
Dog
favorite one.
Stalkers, over and over and over and over and over and over. It just, they neglect them. And I understand their focus is and always will be Street Fighter, but there are so many other great fighting franchises that Capcom's had that they should revisit.
It was a golden era in the 90s, man.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
And now they've dumped it all.
I think Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was the last fighting game I ever played.
That's fine. That was a fantastic game.
It was a
I hate
fantastic game.
I hate the fact that Tanoka versus Capcom is stuck on the what is it, the Wii?
It's on the Wii. It was a great game. It was on the Wii. You plugged in a fight stick to it through a Wiimote, like a nunchuck.
That needs to come off it needs to be brought over. It really does.
Well,
it really
see.
does.
They could.
Nintendo's E3 this year. We'll see. Is also Capcom going to be a part of E3 this year? I think they said, yeah, right?
Yeah, they said yes.
Okay. So, Keith, your hopes, don't get your hopes down. They might be bringing it back.
I have no faith. I don't have no faith. I'm sorry. I've been following Capcom since, they were a thing. And I mean, Resident Evil Reverse? Anyone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone?
Well, I was
That's
just
all
gonna,
I got to say.
You brought up Resident Evil. I was just going to bring it back. Well, they turned Resident Evil around. I don't see why they can't.
It's a great game. Resident Evil was a great game. It's
Right.
a great game. It's a great series. They did a fantastic job with that. But Reverse, I was so excited. Like, we're delaying it. I was like, can you just cancel it?
Yeah,
Did anybody play that? The beta?
definitely not.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, this is horrible.
It was not good. Oh, it was
That
terrible.
was the 4v1, right? Or like
No, it was the same. It was the same as Marvel vs. Capcom, but it was just using the anime properties instead, and it was great. But I would imagine,
Gotcha.
yeah, Ghost Hand in chat said the same thing. It is a licensing nightmare. Yeah, that game was. Yeah, that game would never fly right now because so many companies would go, "Hey, no, you need to pay us an outrageous amount of money to get these into your game." It just wouldn't work.
You want the giant robot that turns into a lighter? Oh, that's gonna cost you some money.
Yep,
Oh,
it's a
boy.
shame. It's a shame.
Anthony, did you go for what was it, NetherRealm?
He did. Yeah.
Okay.
He
All
did.
right. Okay. Monolith, what's the last game Monolith made?
What
Was that
is
Mad
the last
Max?
game they made?
I don't
Mad
know.
They were the
Max.
Mad Max guys, right?
Yeah. I
Or was
think
that
so.
Avalanche? I don't know.
That's Avalanche, I thought.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We're in
Avalanche
that
did that.
nebulous area where I'm not real sure what they
Wow,
did.
the last game they did was Middle Earth: Shadow of War.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Oh, that is
Shadow of War.
I thought this is where it gets all crazy. I thought that was Avalanche.
that mix them up.
Yeah. All right. Where do we think Monolith is going to be picked up with? Shadow of War, not even Shadow of Mordor. No, Shadow of War.
Well,
is
Shadow of
Avalanche.
Mordor was before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do we think?
They could go to Amazon. They already have the
Oh God.
Wow.
Lord of the Rings stuff. They're like, we need a good game studio. You already did our IP. We'll just bring you over here.
Just tie them in. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Wait a
Lord.
minute. That also brings me to a really great point. Wasn't WB filing a patent for the Shadow of War stuff?
Yeah.
Nemesis system
The
stuff.
Yeah.
Nemesis
Yeah.
system?
Yeah.
Was it WB or was that like Monolith itself?
Well, it's all the same thing at that point.
Oh, yeah, at that time it was the same thing.
Mhm.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm saying, do we know for a fact that it was Monolith Studios?
It was WB, I
Oh,
believe.
fuck. Okay, so they're
'Cause
probably
that's what I remember
fucked.
reading.
Okay.
I
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say where I think this one's going.
Where?
I think this is going. I'm going to give a 2-for-1 here. I think this and Avalanche are going straight to Ubisoft.
Oh yeah, Ghost Hand.
I
It
think-
sounds
246.
perfect, actually.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
the same thing.
Oh wow, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft just seems like the place for those kinds of games. They've got. Imagine taking that Nemesis system software into something like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry. Far Cry would be great for that.
I mean, I don't have to imagine it. I could just boot up Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
That's fair. I forgot I had that.
Yeah.
But like that kind of thing in Far Cry or something like that. They have those two studios have the game experience that Ubisoft likes. A big open world action, almost an RPG game where yes, it's the Ubisoft style of game. I can't think of another way to describe those games.
Right.
So I definitely see that's where those kinds of things are going.
All right. Keith.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
It sounds
Just
like
makes
a
the most
match made in
sense.
heaven. Yep.
Yeah. Ghost Hand tower climbing games. Yeah, that's spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Fill a map, tower climb.
Yep. Anthony.
I said Amazon Studios because that'd be
That's right. That's right. That's
a
right.
hilarious.
I'm also gonna go with Ubisoft just because
Mhm.
Ghost Hand said it best. Tower climbing games. Come on, why wouldn't you want to do that? I got here Avalanche Software, which aren't they working on? I could be wrong. Isn't Avalanche working on the Harry Potter game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Forgot about that.
Do we see that game coming out? They haven't like put a release year out, right? 2022 or no?
I thought it was 2021. I thought it was late 2021 they won that
I
game.
thought it got delayed.
Yeah, I thought it also got delayed. Hold on.
COVID and all that.
Yep.
Wasn't it announced during COVID?
No.
Wow.
Yeah,
it
yeah, it
was-
got delayed to 2022. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, was it one of the first things you ever did watch the like announcement for that game on this channel?
Yep.
The Xbox, yeah. What is it called again?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yep.
That's it. Thank you.
Do we think this game is gonna come out? Let's say it doesn't even really say. Portkey Games and Avalanche, yeah. So, is this game coming out? Ryan?
At this moment in time, it really just depends on how far along it is in its production.
Let's say it comes out the end. They really give a release date at the end of 2022, which is after the announcement, after the deal is finalized.
God, ooh, I honestly am not sure. I think if it can come out early 2022, I'm talking like a spring game, March, it's gonna live. If it needs to go past March, it's going on the chopping block.
Okay.
That's really what I see.
Who do you think is going to pick them up?
Ooh. THQ Nordic.
Oh, I was waiting for somebody to say those words.
I completely forgot about that company, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
THQ Nordic, or I was even thinking maybe, crap, what's this company? The head of 2 Cent. Is it
Okay.
10 Cent. Yeah, I was thinking 10 Cent. Keith,
The PUBG guys.
yeah,
I,
is this game coming out? And who do you think is picking them up?
well, again, it depends on how far along they are in development cycle. If they're pretty far along, then I can see it coming out. If they're just delaying after delay to rework the game, maybe it's stuck in development limbo forever. As far as who's picking it up, this one's an odd one.
What's the
I really
last
don't
game?
have any. I really don't have anyone. I mean, THQ Nordic is a good idea. I just legitimately don't see anybody picking this one up. To
I'm
me,
trying to figure out what's the last game Avalanche worked on.
Was it Mad Max?
It might be, yeah. Studios. That makes the most sense.
Cars 3 Driven to Win.
No, Rage 2.
What?
Wait, did they work on Rage?
No, I think there's another studio with a similar name, and so they get mixed up.
Okay. Let me clarify.
Goshan saying Just Cause 4.
Oh, I forgot about those games.
Yeah.
Those were fun.
How could you forget strapping rockets to a cow?
Because I didn't even know it existed until the fourth one came out. I just didn't know.
Oh
it was a
my
thing.
god, you missed out on some fun times on the Xbox, original Xbox. Those are some fun games back then.
I'm if I'm reading this correctly, Avalanche Software. Yeah, Warner Brothers acquired the studio and reopened it in 2017. The last game that they worked on, according to Wikipedia, is Cars 3 Driven to Win.
There's 2 of them. There's Avalanche Software as
And,
well.
Yeah,
It's
this is
very
what I'm looking
confusing.
at. Avalanche Software is the WB one. No, oh Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous.
That's why I said it's confusing, because there's 2 very similar studio names.
Wait.
And-
Avalanche
Avalanche.
was bought. Avalanche Software was owned by Disney Interactive till
Right.
2016, then sold to Warner Brothers in 2017 to the present.
Right. And according to Wikipedia, the Avalanche Software the last game they worked on was Cars 3 Driven to Win, and they are now working on Hogwarts Legacy. Which is
they were the Disney Infinity team.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Have some decent games here, decent licensed games.
I don't know
With
about
Disney
that.
Infinity,
THQ Nordic, come pick these guys up.
the Toy Story 3 game was real good.
Oh
I
God.
that.
Yeah, Ghost and Just Cause 4 was actually Avalanche Studios, not Avalanche Software. Which, come on, guys, just change the name. You know, let's hope whoever buys them just changes the name, because this is ridiculous. Anthony, who picks up Avalanche, and is this Harry Potter game coming out?
Well, WB had planned to be at E3 before it got canned, and this would presumably have been when they would have showed
I believe
more
they're
of
still
this
going.
game. Well, yeah, but I think last year, prior to DC
yeah.
Fandom and that whole
Gotcha.
situation. So they could have been in a much better state than the last time we've seen it, and we just weren't able to because of COVID. So it could come out very well. In terms of who gets it, I'm not even real sure. Maybe like a Square Enix. I know they're doing like the RPG sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that is technically in Square's warehouse, even if they don't do so great on the Western side.
Okay. The last but not least, we have the WB games. There's like 5 of them: Montreal, Boston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, and New York. The biggest one, Montreal. I'm just gonna group these all together because I don't even know what the last game Boston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, or New York worked on.
They could be support studios for like when they were doing the Nemesis system and stuff. They could have been some of the team that helped with that. Maybe we're not real sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mobile. That wouldn't surprise
Yeah,
me from
mobile too.
video.
Okay.
Doesn't WB publish? Like they are technically a publisher as well, so they don't necessarily have to be developers, all of them. So
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just group them all together. WB games. Who do you think is
Mhm.
picking them up? Ryan?
Oh, I need to think of like the only one that I remember making games is Montreal.
Right. So
I need
let's
to
just
look-
base it off of that.
I need to look at what WB Montreal has done. That
Arkham.
isn't Arkham.
yeah, that isn't
That's-
obvious.
I'm like the last thing I remember them doing was Arkham. They're working on Gotham Knights.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Which
Well,
was
now what
recently delayed.
Yeah, I'm like, now what happens to that game? It got delayed to what, 2022?
Yep.
God, that's another one that's in hard limbo.
From what we
Um,
saw at the fandom, it looks good so far. But that could have just been,
That was that. God, everything at fandom was such a better time.
yeah.
God, back to fandom. Fandom was a good day.
Yep.
Well, they're doing another one in October.
Maybe we don't know anymore.
Sorry, delayed.
Yep.
Yeah. Um.
To 2023. No, sorry, 2033.
You know what? Here's my call for this one. Epic Games.
Wow.
Oh my lord. Oh my god. That's another conversation on its own.
Wow, I completely forgot about Epic.
Because
Yeah.
Epic Games doesn't do consoles.
Yeah.
So PC exclusive. Sorry guys. Oh no, don't do that.
Wow.
Well, they have Fortnite on everything. They have Rocket League technically on everything now, so they're not. It's not abnormal. It's just they don't do much.
Yeah.
I can see them like again. Also, this studio doesn't do it does a lot, but I'm just saying, it's not pumping out the games such as the other teams were. These are satellite studios that help public that coming. I can see Epic needing that.
Right.
I can see them needing more for that kind of team building. So, yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility.
Ghost Hand is in the chat again and says, I don't know now with all the trial stuff. Epic is pretty overwhelmed. And
Nah, they're
as of now.
fine.
Yeah,
The
They're
lawyers
fine.
are busy, but
Yeah.
not Epic
the
themselves.
lawyers are busy, but I don't think anyone else has taken a big bump from that one.
Okay.
Fortnite's chugging. As long as Fortnite's chugging, they're doing okay.
Okay. Keith, who we think is picking up WB games?
Microsoft.
Ooh. Oh, God.
I'm not even a Microsoft shield just because I'm wearing a hat because I
No,
alternate
no.
my hats.
Right, right,
Like
right.
my Sony hats are running somewhere, but I think it just makes sense for Microsoft
Right.
to go,
Yeah.
we want to get into this. There we go. And they
Okay.
got money to toss around, so why
All right.
not?
Anthony?
Honestly, I'm not real sure because outside of the one studio who has, I thought Arkham Origins was good, but obviously compared to what a different team did, so it's not exactly fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then their new game, Arkham whatever,
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, looked to be going down the Avengers route. So we're not even sure where
But it looked like a
that would
better
end up.
Avengers.
It did.
Okay.
So, but yes, but even so, you never know how things could turn out with the
They can make
online
Avengers.
online multiplayer gear and all the RPG that came with that. So you never know.
Okay. For my last prediction, I'm gonna say Valve. They're coming back to video games, baby. We're gonna finally give you that Left 4 Dead 3. We're gonna finally give you that Portal 3. Portal didn't get a sequel.
Said F you and went to go make their own game called Back for Blood.
I mean, yeah, but like, you know what I'm
But
saying?
Valve is like, we have the IP.
Yeah, we have the IP. Why not just we see your game? Let's just make it better.
I don't know. That game looks real good.
It does look real good.
Doing that thing. They showed that VR isn't dead last year of Half-Life Alex.
Right. So
That game was
why not just pivot WB games to VR?
They could.
Okay, I think that's pretty much wraps up the show. That was a nice predictions list.
Fun.
Final thoughts, guys? Ryan?
God, just again, like a couple of us have said in here, like even said, this is hide in your bunker, close your eyes, and come out when the bombs are done dropping type scenario. It's
Yep.
yeah, I'm gonna wait. It's 2 years before we see the outcome of this. So
Yeah.
occasionally I'll see when the Hollywood Reporter pops up, but other than that, we won't know the true ramifications of this for a long time.
Okay. Keith?
Close my eyes.
give
Close
me
my
some
eyes.
hope, Keith. Give me some hope.
Okay. The hope is that some of our predictions are going to come true, and you'll be happy that you were right.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I'll
Shout out
take
to
that.
THQ Nordic.
That could also be a prediction. Why not THQ Nordic just take up a bunch of all these studios? They just buy them outright. You know, they got the money. I can see it happening.
Who even knows how that company works?
Yeah, nobody knows. They just buy IPs just to get rid of them. Well, just to buy them.
But then they have 80 games in development. Oh
Yep. Yep. Ghost Hand. Hope is that Warner Brothers themselves were terrible. I don't know about that. Well, I mean, I guess they built themselves into a hole.
They did fantastic things with games in the times they did them.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, not even just games in general.
They've
WB animation, a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
had less issues with.
Yeah.
Like yes, the handling of DC is bad, but some sides of it are bad. But then look at what they've done for television. Harley Quinn,
Yeah, it's true.
videos, bringing back Young Justice, all that kind of thing. That's
the
fantastic.
Arrowverse.
I completely forgot the entirety of what really popped this shit all off was the Arrowverse.
Yeah. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for that, we wouldn't be nowhere, you know?
Truly. There'd be no Snyder Cut of the Arrowverse.
No Snyder Cut whatsoever. Anthony, any final thoughts?
I am worried for DC Comics. I hope everything works out for those guys. I know they all care a lot. They all try really hard to make great stories.
Yep.
And they already lost a lot of people. I hope they don't lose any more. The film division, I hope they get their issues sorted out. They can work together in terms of find more synergy. And I know a lot of the reports had it that the AT&T WB management was very indecisive in terms of what they just wanted to do. That's why the Flash film went through so many changes. They couldn't make a decision to start working.
Right.
And so I hope we get some more definitive leadership so we can at least start getting movies out, whether they're good or bad. I just want to see
Just give
other
us
people's
something.
interpretations of these characters in terms of these worlds and the kind of messages you could put out with these characters.
Right.
So.
Ghost Hand, he says he was mostly talking about the video game division, which is, yeah, definitely true. They were really bad. Again, the last game that came out from Warner Brothers was Arkham Knight. Well, the last big game was Arkham Knight, but I'm sure they've released a bunch of the Lego games,
Mobile.
right? Yeah, mobile games, Lego
and
games, the
mobile.
Scribble Knots, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah. All right, guys, let's get into some plugs. Ryan, where can people find you?
People can find me at
Every time.
Ryan the Lion 3055 on Twitter
All right.
for anime hot takes and anything else I'm up to. And they can find me on this channel tomorrow hosting Anime Nation.
All
It's
right.
gonna be a good time at 7 p.m. EST.
Okay, cool. Keith, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. Wow, if I can fix my voice. Twitter at ShadowHaxer, or you can find me at theouterhaven.net, where I'm either writing about gaming or some kind of technology news.
Okay, cool. Anthony, where can people find you?
Digital Encounter, take the E off of Encounter for Twitter. And yeah.
Okay, cool. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at That Guy Tuesday, or you could find the channel's Twitter at Pen Conquest. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. I really appreciate it. Keith, great having you on. Let's hope this becomes a regular thing. Not a regular thing, but you know.
Hey,
Let's
if
hope
you
to
guys
see
can
you
invite
again.
me back, then been fantastic.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you once again.